Avoidants don't need space. Here's what they actually need. Once you really see and understand fully what they need, your whole anxious avoidant relationship dynamic can completely change and shift. And you get to stop worrying over them not spending as much time with you as you would like them to. By the way, hi, I'm Jula. I'm the Anxious to Secure coach, and welcome to the Anxious to Secure podcast. I transformed my own relationship by understanding not only my own attachment style when I used to be anxiously attached, but also by understanding my partner's, the avoidant attachment style, much, much deeper. Today, we're busting the biggest myth about avoidant attached partners, and I'm going to show you exactly what they actually crave deep down, and it's not exactly what you think. Plus, I give you a complete transformation process so you can apply these steps immediately in your relationship. So yeah, you don't just survive, you thrive. Let's go. Disclaimer, I'm not a therapist or doctor. This content is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to diagnose, treat, or heal any mental health condition. If you're in an abusive relationship or dealing with severe mental health challenges, always seek professional advice. So let's talk about the myth that you have been sold. If you ever thought, I just need to give them space and not to be too much, you're not wrong, but you're missing the whole truth. Giving space is important. You do need to miss each other. But giving space is not very helpful if you're doing it from a place of fear and anxiety. The thoughts of, if I don't pull back, they might leave. If I don't just act chill, maybe they will finally come close. And that's not safety, that's actually also self-abandonment. And trust me, your partner can feel that, they sense that. Even when you're silent, you're most likely still anxious. So here's what giving space actually looks like when it's coming from a place of anxiety and fear and overthinking and insecurity. So maybe you stop texting for hours, but obsessively stare at your phone, hoping for them to reconnect, to text you again, or to break the ice after an argument. You say, no worries, do your thing, go out with your boys, but then spiral every night when you're alone, when he's still out. You hold back from sharing how you feel because you're scared it will push them away. Panicking when your partner comes home later than expected. Freaking out when they have gone quiet for a day and haven't texted back. Which ones of these examples can you relate? Let me know in the YouTube comments. And you're going quiet, but inside there's so much anxiety, so much emotions going up, you're screaming. And that's not the kind of space that actually builds closeness and that your partner wants to. That's more fear. You're trying to hide. What your partner actually wants isn't just cold distance. It's not about sleeping on the couch or ignoring texts. It's about emotional freedom. Now, let me be clear. Physical space is important. My partner and I give each other space a lot, at least where we can. I'm still around a lot because I work from home, so I'm not having a place to go many times, and I'm here in Sicily where I don't have my own community or friends or family even, so still there's a lot of imbalance, I would say, but we can give each other space where possible. So we go to bed at different times, for example, if one of us just feels like tired or just wants to go to bed earlier, or waking up at different times and already, preparing for the day, or the other one sleeps in, or going for a walk in different moments when you just feel like it. If my partner wants to hang out with friends just for a couple of beers or anything like this, I'm not going to try to convince him to stay at home. I'm not going to sneak in that I would love to come with him. I'm going to give him as much space as possible. And I really suggest this for you as well. So the difference is there's a massive gap between physical space and emotional freedom. Let's talk about this more. So physical space from anxiety can look like forcing yourself not to text while your heart races and you check your phone lots of times every few minutes, saying, sure, go out, while internally, you're keeping score of how often they have chosen maybe other people over you, or maybe they've chosen to spend time with their friends or family over spending time with you, or maybe panicking when he's going on a work trip for a few days or even a week, not knowing what's going on, or him going on a Christmas party where you're not invited and Janine is going to be there. What does emotional freedom look like? Emotional freedom, on the other hand, is more like letting them go after work without guilt tripping your partner, like without sighing and rolling your eyes and this heaviness or needing proof of love, and without needing him to tell you when he comes home, without having him to check in on you, without you having to check in on him, saying, yes, of course you can go on that trip, I want you to have those experiences, and genuinely meaning it. Maybe even suggesting, if your partner really loves to travel alone like my partner does, and he loves to go for hikes, for example, I really suggest it and encourage it. Like this, the last few months he has been going through a lot, like with work, it has been a lot of ups and downs, and I've been actually suggesting, hey, you know what, maybe you need to go on a hike again. So actually being the one who makes these suggestions, don't fear falling back. Like also encouraging them to rest, maybe whatever your partner is into, like hiking, seeing friends, going out, you know, anything what emotional freedom looks like for your partner, without checking in every few minutes or having to plan his schedule for him or preparing his lunch or day or whatever. You don't have to micromanage him or control or do this out of place, out of anxiety, because anxiety wants to let us think we need to know everything what's going on. And if we can't take control over the day, over his schedule, over what he's doing, over your relationship, then we're losing control, and that's very scary, because uncertainty can be scary. But emotional freedom is something extremely important for anyone, especially for avoidant attached partners, even men in general. And the more you can support that, the more they will come to you afterwards. The other day, I was in the living room and my partner was here in the bedroom already, and my partner actually came to me and said, hey, do you want to come to bed with me? And our family's dog was there as well. My partner's family's dog, Maya. He really said, we both really miss you. And this would have never happened if I would be constantly hovering around my partner. This only happens when you pull back and regulate yourself and also have fun in being alone with yourself. And this comes after a while. Or also another example is letting go of needing constant reassurance and validation or approval, because you're learning to reassure yourself. You're learning to give yourself the things that you used to outsource yourself. That's a huge lesson I learned. Healing my anxious attachment style mostly was in giving myself the things first. I was looking in for my partner, and then my partner is just an addition on top. My friends are an addition on top. But if I give myself all the things like security and connection, validation to myself first, I know my value. I know I'm good. My bucket is full. Like literally my cup is already full, and anything else is just like making it overflow. And this is the shift from fearful space to real emotional freedom, from pressure to partnership, from I need you to soothe me to I've got me and I've got you. But here's what nobody tells you. Understanding this concept isn't enough. You need to know why they need this and what's driving your fear response as well. Because otherwise I will receive lots of hate comments on YouTube bashing the avoidant attachment style and telling me you should never be with an avoidant and all of these things. And let me just go a little bit deeper into why avoidant attachment styles are like this, why they actually need this. So most avoidant attached people grew up with caregivers who were emotionally unavailable, overwhelmed, or who maybe even punished vulnerability somehow. So they have learned early on, my feelings are not safe. If I show my need, I'll be shamed or shut down. And their nervous system is wired for protection over connection. So closeness for them now feels more like a threat to their autonomy. They have learned they kind of couldn't really rely on their parents and moms or dads, whoever raised them. So they have learned that they have to take care of their own needs. They have to kind of independently raise themselves. This is why they have this strong need for independence and autonomy. And if this is a threat, if the anxious partner takes this away, this can be very triggering because it doesn't feel safe. And in the beginning, they're attached to this kind of thing because it's kind of the same emotional experience from childhood. You role model the same, parent relationship as, the partner. But now, eventually, after the honeymoon phase, this will become the most triggering part. So they don't consciously choose this, but it's a survival response. It's a survival method. So you, the anxious partner, takes this as distance is rejection. But when really they're trying to avoid is being smothered, being guilt-tripped, or like they're disappearing in the relationship and they're losing control. And you also don't want to lose control, right? The anxious attachment doesn't want to lose control, because that's why they overthink. That's why we plan ahead. That's why we want transparency. That's why we need to know that our partner's committed and all of these things. That's why we want to get married and have commitment. But our partner wants to have control through independence, through autonomy, through not being trapped, this kind of stuff, by not being overly vulnerable, by avoiding emotions, because that is dangerous, because they've learned emotions are bad. So they crave emotional freedom, because freedom equals safety in their nervous system. When you can give them emotional freedom, not from a place of fear, but from a genuinely place of security, that's when they feel safe to connect. That's when they come back to you eventually, if the avoidant attached partner actually is invested in your relationship. And I've talked about this in another episode where I talk about, is he avoidant or is he just not into you, which you can, rewatch as well, which is important to know, because you can't change a person, never. It's just with an avoidant attached partner, we often think they're not into us. However, it's just their survival response and they deeply love you. So it's important to figure this out as well, because you don't want to chase someone who's actually not into you. So this just as a side note. So, but I know what you're thinking, like, okay, Jula, this makes sense, but how do I actually do this when they pull away and every cell of my body is just screaming, I need connection, and it doesn't feel safe to pull away or just to actually relax and to actually enjoy my time. So how do we do this? So let me talk you through step by step. Next time they might pull away, instead of spiraling, overthinking, worrying, asking if they are mad or over texting, do this. Step 1. Pause and drop into curiosity. Curiosity is a powerful emotion, because often we can't just be regulated and safe and calm, but curiosity is more like a neutral emotion. It's a much easier emotion to get into from any kind of state. So take a deep breath in through the nose, hold, and out the mouth. And ideally breathe out longer than you inhale. And before you reframe anything, drop into curiosity. Curiosity means just asking questions, just figuring out what else could there be. Just instead of jumping to conclusions on fixating on a specific story you think is already happening, that they don't love you, that they are not into you anymore, just being curious and asking questions to yourself, to challenge yourself, to coach yourself, to be your own therapist a little bit. You can tell yourself mantras as well, like it's about them, not about me. Writing things down that you learn maybe through YouTube tutorials, or that you know about avoidant attachment styles that seem to be true, or that you've found already are true. Because when you're anxiously attached and you're spiraling in overthinking, your brain gets flooded and you can't think clearly. So ideally you want to write this down in advance, so you can then remember them and say them out loud without you have to think or remember specific moments. So you can say, it's about them, not about me. Their triggers are about them and their wounds and their fears, and my triggers about mine. So I've got me. This isn't rejection, this is regulation. And this phrase works because your brain needs new meaning to calm your survival responses. Like right now, your brain links distance with being abandoned. So this shift rewires that link. Step 2, tend to your nervous system first. So this is where the real work happens, because our subconscious mind and our brain doesn't understand language, words. Nervous system work isn't what we tell ourselves, it's what we do with our bodies. So here are a few things you can do. Start with your breath. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. Make the exhale longer than the inhale, and this activates your parasympathetic nervous system response. You can also do a body scan. It's a very powerful thing that is part of processing your emotions, part of sitting with emotions. Extreme powerful tool if you want to learn to manage your emotions better. In short, you do it like this. You notice where the sensation is from the emotion in your body. Anger, sadness, anxiety. Where do you feel it? Is it in your stomach, in your chest, in your throat, in your hands? What kind of sensation is it? Is it like a hot sensation, like a butterfly sensation, like lots of pins and needles? Is it rough? Is it sharp? Be really curious to pretend you're like a researcher investigating the sensation. And the more you do this body scan and drop into curiosity and notice where it's in your body, the more you connect with your body, and it will already help so much from getting out of this intense emotion. And it sounds silly and strange if you've never done this, but after doing this multiple times, you will see a huge improvement. That's what I've done for myself and in my clients, because it's something we never really learn. We never really learn when we're young to sit with your emotions, to process your emotions. I call it a skill, because learning to be still and not just acting on your emotions, but actually to be with your emotions is very powerful. And after a body scan, you can label your emotion or your experience. So you can say, I'm noticing anxiety in my chest. I'm having the thought that they are pulling away from me. This is my anxious thought speaking. This is my abandonment fear speaking. Or my anxious brain is trying to tell me that my partner doesn't love me. This is a bit of a weird language, but by labeling it, you're kind of putting it in front of you. You're creating distance to it. You can also do like a thing where you pretend to throw the sentence you're having in front of you visually, that you see it. Anything that creates distance from you and the thought, you and the emotion, because otherwise it will take over you, or you think this is true. This thought is exactly what's happening. Partner doesn't love you. They're into someone else. They're going to leave you. You're not good enough. But by just dropping into curiosity, by creating distance to the thought, by asking yourself, what would a secure person think and do and act, to creating new possibilities. And remember, you are not the anxiety. You're just experiencing it. Part of you is experiencing it. Never say, I am anxious or I am an anxious person. Always say, a part of me, or I feel. This takes away the power as well. What you can also do is read the emotion as a cue. What does this feeling want to do? What is it signaling me? Because, emotions are energies in motion. Is it an activating emotion or is it a deactivating emotion? So like panic or anger, you might need to shake it off, shake your hands or arms or your whole body. Or if it's sadness or fear, you might need a hug. Maybe you just want to do like a butterfly hug, or you just want to hug yourself literally. And maybe you just need some like warmth, connection to yourself. You can put a hand on your heart as well. You can just, rock back and forth or to the side. Anything that kind of helps you to soothe your inner child. Something else you can do is humming or gentle movement. So humming creates vibration that soothes your vagus nerve. Rocking also mimics the comfort we felt as babies, meaning it's extremely powerful because you subconsciously were held as a baby. So these aren't just, silly little things. They are actually biological and they create safety within us. Anything that happened to us as a baby either makes us wired for safety or the opposite, or fear of abandonment or insecurity. Literally treat yourself like you're a baby, and not in a condescending kind of way, but in a soothing kind of way. Then once your body feels more settled, you can say things to yourself like, I'm safe to feel this. I'm allowed to feel triggered and still be loved. I don't need to change or do anything with this emotion. I'm allowed to just sit here. My anxious brain is trying to tell me that I'm not safe, but I am safe. More and more, I'm open to see that. So this tells your amygdala, we are not in danger when your body feels safe first. Your brain won't spiral as much anymore. But here's where most people get stuck. They do this in the moment, but the same fear keeps coming up again because they haven't addressed the root cause. And the next step is work on your beliefs on the root cause, because this is where most people get stuck. They do some exercises, but then they never figure out what is the root cause of your anxiety, what is actually deeper down going on. So let me talk you through an exercise to find your core belief, the problem underneath the surface, underneath the iceberg. So let's go into like a journaling exercise. Let's say your partner just said, I need some space for a bit, and your heart races again, and you overthink like, are they mad at me? What if they pull away for good? So this is where we go deeper. Step 1, ask yourself why all over again, as many times as you need to find your core belief. Usually a core belief is like an I am statement, the meaning you give to certain situations, like I'm not lovable, or I will be left, I am not safe, things like this. And it's extremely powerful to know these core beliefs, because everything what we believe we find to be true. Like if you have a core belief of you are not good enough, you will find evidence everywhere. That used to be my core belief, and I always thought I wasn't pretty enough, I wasn't smart enough, I wasn't funny enough, wasn't witty enough, I wasn't interesting enough, and all of these things in all areas of my life, not just in my relationship, also at work. I was too scared to ask for a pay rise, to even to apply for a job. Thought I wasn't good enough to communicate with people because I thought the way I talk wasn't good enough. And all of these things. First, let me just give you an example, a rundown, so you can imagine what it looks like when I do this with my clients. And you can start like this. Why can't I just pause and give them space? Or why is this such a problem? So an example answer might be, because I feel like if I don't chase them, if I'm not close to them, they think I'll don't care about them, and I'm scared they will leave. And then I could ask again, why are you scared they will leave? And by the way, I'm scared they will leave, or people will leave me, is already a limiting belief. It's already a root cause. But let's go deeper. So why are you scared they will leave? Example could be, because I've been abandoned before, and when people pull away, it always feels like they're abandoning me. So why does it always feel like abandonment? Because when I was younger, I often felt alone. My parents didn't always know how to support me when I was upset. So I started thinking that when people pull away, it's because they don't care about me. Why did you decide that this meant that they don't care? And the answer could be, because whenever I asked for something in the past, I didn't always get it. So I felt like my needs were too much, and I was taught that if I needed something, it would make people uncomfortable or make them pull away. So why do you believe your needs are too much? Example, when I was needy or emotional, I got less attention and care. So I'm too much when I have needs. Why do you believe you're too much? Example might be, because deep down I believe I'm not worthy of love as I am. I'm not enough just being myself. And it feels safer to be someone else. Step 2, you want to identify these core beliefs. Usually it's the last thing you said, but in this example, I went a little bit too detailed, I think. There were so many core beliefs in there. So like, people always leave me, my needs are too much, I'm not good enough, and I have to be someone I'm actually not. I have to abandon myself. So lots of core examples and limiting beliefs you can work with here. So write them all down in your journal, and then start working with the belief that feels the most painful for you, emotionally painful. So that's usually the I am statement, like I am not enough, I'm not safe, I'm not worthy, and I'm not lovable. This is a core belief that drives your emotions, your actions, and creates your results in your relationship. Are you ready to let go? Or do you want to keep holding on to this painful story that you're not good enough, that you're not lovable, that people will always leave you? Because this will really damage your health, your mental state. It will impact physically your body as well, because our mind and bodies are always connected. For me, I developed migraines later on and stomach problems, and is just impacting every single part of my life. It made me so anxious, insecure. And there's nothing more empowering than creating a relationship where you don't have to worry all the time, where you're relaxed and safe and grounded and you can play. And I just wish this for anybody. By the way, if you want to check out my free attachment library, it's linked in the show notes or below the YouTube video. There's also some courses and details on how you can work with me one-on-one. I have a text and talk offer. It's like a coaching via text where I can send you also worksheets and visuals and exercises, but it's mostly about I'm guiding you in the moment during the challenges or after the challenges when you don't want to wait for a coaching session. Or I also have coaching packages like a 4-month or 8-month coaching container if you're actually ready to heal your anxious attachment style and create an earned, secure attachment style. The best thing that I've ever done for myself to live an anxiety-free life that is like really free of me worrying, feeling insecure, and just empowering myself is the best thing I've done. And I just wish this on anybody, and it's possible for you too. And if you want to invest in this in yourself, contact me for more information. We can jump on a free call. I'm going to ask you a few questions to make sure you're a great fit for my coaching offers. And if we're not a match and I don't think you're right for my coaching offers, I will tell you, guide you in the right direction. Anyway, let's continue. So knowing your core belief is just a start. Now we want to challenge it. You can ask, is this 100% true? How do I really know that expressing my needs will cause someone to pull away, for example? You want to really write down as a list in your journal all the pieces of evidence why this core belief is apparently true and the counter evidence. What evidence do I have? Can I think of even one instance when showing my needs didn't cause someone to pull away? And you want to really challenge your old belief and create as many powerful pieces of evidence for the new belief. Because it's not helpful to think you're unlovable, people will leave, you will be abandoned. And it's much more powerful to know that you are lovable no matter what, that you don't have to chase for validation and approval. So you can also ask, what facts support this new belief or this old belief? By the way, it's not an absolute fact that expressing needs equals abandonment. And if you always come to a conclusion, maybe you will have the limiting belief that abandonment is actually dangerous. That's also a huge limiting belief. Abandonment nowadays is not dangerous for an adult if you are able to take care of yourself. It's only dangerous for babies and kids, but we're still wired to believe this. This is another huge belief you might want to work on. Another way to challenge your belief is by finding cognitive distortions. So you might be stuck on one of many cognitive distortions, so little lies we're telling ourselves, like black and white thinking. Either they're pulling away because they don't care or they're rejecting you. Challenge this. Is there any chance that there are gray areas in between this black and white way of thinking? Could this be an opportunity for me to show I'm secure enough to give them emotional freedom? Could their pulling away simply mean they need time to recharge? So now, if you haven't done this yet, reframe the belief. Like, it's not weak to have needs, or it's actually strong to express them in a secure way. Or when my partner pulls away, it doesn't mean they don't love me, it means they need to regulate. Or I'm worthy of love and support, regardless of whether someone is available to meet my needs in the exact way I want. And you also want to reframe and find a new core belief. Let's say if you found out earlier that your belief is I'm too much, you want to flip it and find a new core beliefs like I am more than enough. I'm allowed to take up space. The right people will love me for my depth and me. I don't need to be shrinked to be loved. My vulnerability is powerful, or my emotions are a gift. Find something that is maybe the opposite of your old core beliefs, and then if you don't believe it yet, you can add a word beforehand like maybe. It's possible. I'm open to believe. Like more and more I'm starting to believe that I'm not a burden, that I'm allowed to be who I am, that I don't have to shrink myself, because you want to build up to a more warmer belief. Think of it like going thought shopping. You're trying on new beliefs to find the one that really feels true and balanced. But now comes the crucial part. How do you actually live this out in real life? So support your partner's individual dreams. When your partner mentions traveling solo, hiking with friends, or taking a week trip, instead of your stomach dropping, try, I'm a little bit scared, but I want you to have fun. And that shows you're being honest, you're being vulnerable, but you're taking a step into the right direction. Create space for their hobbies. If your partner loves something you're not involved in, like hiking or sports or football, reading, don't make it mean anything about you. Don't add meaning into it. Encourage them. I love that you have this passion. Enjoy it. The less pressure they feel, the more emotional freedom they will experience. And stop the constant check-ins. This is huge. If your partner wants to go for after-hour drinks, let them do that without a side eye or sighing or needing updates every hour. Show them you trust them and letting go of control. And this will all become easier once you apply, the emotional and the belief steps and do the journaling exercises more and more. You can't just regulate yourself within one exercise, but the more you do this, the practical action steps become easier. And encourage time apart. I value our time together, but I know you need some time for yourself. So go ahead and do this thing. This could mean solo vacations, time with friends, or just a quiet evening alone, or him to speak on his phone or her. Be supportive of their ideas as well. When they share big dreams or want to start a business or changing careers, planning a solo trip again, be the person who says, that's incredible. I love that for you. I love that you're excited about this and I want to support you. Instead of questioning it or doubting them, because that's really the last thing anyone wants. So, the secret here is really in building capacity gradually for all of these action steps. So start small. When your partner goes away for the weekend, instead of focusing yourself to say, oh cool, enjoy, which feels fake, be honest and say, hey, this feels scary for me, but I'm learning how to handle it bit by bit. I'm brave enough to try to be supportive of you, even if it feels a little bit scary. Night 1, stay with a family member or friend. Don't go completely alone yet. Night 2, try spending time alone without texting him every few hours. When you feel anxious, then maybe text a friend or call a friend or journal instead. Journal about all of your emotions and feelings, and maybe imagine how your partner would tell you all of the reassuring things you want to hear right now. This teaches your brain, I'm safe, I can do this more and more. And this builds up proof the more often you're able to do this. And another example is if you're feeling like you need constant reassurance and constant contact, acknowledge the discomfort. Like, I want to hear from them, but I also don't want to hold them back. And I want to feel secure. And when you feel the urge to check in, pause, breathe, and tell yourself, I'm choosing peace. They will reach out when they're ready, and do the emotional work that we talked about in the previous steps. And here's the key. You can still reach out to your partner, but extend the time frame. Build up the tools to give yourself the emotions you think you will feel when your partner replies to you, when your partner reassures you, when your partner calls you back and tells you everything will be okay. Because in the end, all we want is to feel an emotion. And emotions come from our thoughts. Our thoughts create our emotions. We don't want to give the power away all the time to our partner or to other people, right? So take back control. Every time you choose self-soothing over chasing, you're literally rewiring your brain. You're shifting from I can't be okay without them, without constant closeness, without constant reassurance, without constant contact, to I'm okay on my own and I can handle emotional freedom. I can give them space and I can still be okay. And two things can be true at the same time. I can be anxious and I can still give them space. Your brain starts to learn, I don't need to chase. I can feel okay without constant validation, without constant physical closeness. And the result, you become the secure energy in the room. You stop making their withdrawal mean anything about your worth, about your value. You take your own power back. When you become emotional free yourself, when you can genuinely support their need for emotional freedom without betraying your own needs, your entire relationship dynamic can transform. So ask yourself, am I giving them physical space from fear or emotional freedom from security? And before their withdrawal, put a hand on your heart, take a deep breath and say, this isn't a rejection, this is just regulation. do the why exercise to figure out your root cause, the true, real reason why you feel so anxious, to really find out your core belief. If you're worried that you're not good enough, that you're too much, people will leave, that you're not safe, that you have to hide from your true, authentic being, that you can't speak up because otherwise people will leave, find out the core belief that is driving your actions and creating your results. Then challenge this belief and ask, is it really 100% true? Journal down all the pieces of evidence against this belief, for this belief, and then come to conclusions. And before decide if you actually want to hold on to this belief or let it go. Then choose one small action this week that supports your new core belief and also to support, what it means for your partner to be emotionally free from honoring your own needs first. And gradually, more and more, you're building the secure attachment yourself and you're creating more emotional security in your relationship for your partner as well. And yes, you can't do this work for your partner. They have to create their own safety, but you can add and support them. So as a final reminder, avoidants don't need just space, they need emotional freedom as well. And the second you can give them this, from a place of genuine security, not fear, everything can change. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments on YouTube that you are listening, that you're watching, and if it's resonated with you and what you want to learn more about. I'm so happy that you're following me on my journey and that we're all connected in this world and that we can create secure attachment styles and healthy relationships and help to make us feel more safe, because safety is a core need that anyone should not miss out on. So thank you so much again, and remember, change in your relationship starts with you, thought by thought, action by action, and now episode by episode. Lots of love, Jula. Bye bye.